These siddhis can only attract others. Yama, niyama, asana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Thought where you say, what is not mine, what does not belong to me, I don't want it. In the last session, we were talking about Sadhana Pada of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and yet we had finished it. Today, we'll try to look at all the other three padas, starting with the Sadhana Pada of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. You know that Patanjali's Yoga Sutra describes yoga or divides yoga into 8 parts. That is why it is also called astanga. Ashta means 8, anga means parts. So what are these 8 parts? Very easy to understand. Yama, niyama, asana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. These are the 8 parts. These 8 parts are divided into bahya and antarika. So bahyanga, or the angas are the parts which are outside, and 3 parts which are inside. But my own tradition, our tradition says it is actually 4 bahyanga, 1 middle, 4 are outside, 1 is in the middle, and 3 are totally internal. Buddha also agrees with the Ashtanga. He has what is called as Panchashila and Trisamadhi. But we are not going into Buddhist sadhana right now. So, each of these parts are also steps that one needs to follow, a yogi needs to follow. The first step is Yama. Yama means psychological and moral discipline. We saw that the whole of yoga is anushasana, it's a discipline. So here in Yama, he is saying you must cultivate, one must cultivate psychological and moral disciplines. And whenever you think of Yamas, think of Gandhiji. The Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. The first yama, there are 5 yamas. The first yama is ahimsa. Ahimsa, you all know, it is not hurting, non-violence, non-harming, kaya, vacha, manasa. In thought, words and deeds. In your mind, you will be thinking, oh, let him come in front of me, I'll break his teeth. But your speech will be very sweet. You'll say, aha, what a great man, in front of him. But in your thought, you're very violent. Even that kind of violence is considered ahimsa. There's a tribe in South America where, it is still followed, a ritual where if you hurt somebody in your dream, you go in the morning, apologize and give him a token of gift as, a repentance. It is still followed in a certain tribe in South America. Even if you hurt somebody in your dream, that is violence. So, the first yama is ahimsa. Don't do himsa. Do not do violence. Do not hurt in thought, in words or deeds. Manasa, vacha, karmana. The second yama is satya. Always be truthful. Some people find this very difficult to stick to the truth. Why is this? People lie because they are always looking at external validation. They want somebody else to say, Shabash, you are great, you are good. Even Krishna says, speak the truth, priyam vada, satyam vada, priyam vada. Don't hurt anyone, but you don't have to lie. We all want to be appreciated. Who doesn't want to be appreciated? But appreciation is different from validation. The third yama is asteya. Asteya is loosely translated as non-stealing. But I will explain, it is actually a thought where you say, what is not mine, what does not belong to me, I don't want it. What is not mine, I do not want. Even if there is a golden diamond crown lying on the middle of the road, if it doesn't belong to you, then you will not pick it up. Some of the ancient travelers who came from foreign countries, from China and from Arabia and Morocco, these writers have written that in many of these cities in India, asteya was practiced religiously. If you leave a bag full of coins in the middle of the road, somebody would just take it and keep it by the side. But nobody wants it. Again, we have to go back to the karma theory. Because in India, taking something that is not yours also means inviting somebody else's karma. Who knows what that bag contains? It might contain a pot of gold which was earned by killing and pillaging and murdering. We don't want it. It might have a head of somebody murdered. Nobody would even open a bag, it would just be lying there. At the most, kept by the side of the road. Foreign travelers have written about asteya. The fourth is brahmacharya. Again, this is, if you look at the Western authors, they will write celibacy for brahmacharya. Celibacy as a concept doesn't exist in Indian thought. If you were to remain celibate, then you wouldn't have been given genitals. Here, brahmacharya means the right use of your sexual energy. And of course, Tantra goes deep into how to use this sexual energy in the right way. Brahmacharya means not losing your sexual energy. That doesn't mean celibacy like the West. The West is influenced by the Judeo-Christian Islamic view. For example, in Christianity, you see all these priests and nuns belonging to the Roman Catholic Church. Like the nuns are married to Jesus. They cannot get married again. So what happens to their sexual energy? You know, the priests in Roman Catholicism, they cannot get married. So what happens to their sexual energy? In the West, they say repress it, suppress it. In the Indian context, we say urdhvaretaskara, take it upwards. That is the whole fundamental concept of brahmacharya, to use your sexual energy, because that is the only energy you have. Mind you, you might be doing some research, a person might be contesting elections, or somebody might be earning a lot of money, creating wealth. It is all one energy, the creative energy. And what is the biggest creation a human can do? Create another human. What can be a bigger creation? Isn't it? So, brahmacharya is the right use of the energy, and when we talk about Tantra, I will explain what it means in detail. The fifth yama is aparigraha. Aparigraha means non-hoarding. In fact, there are 4 types of living styles, 4, that is mentioned in Mahabharata. The first type of living is called Siloncha Vritti, which means Uncha Vritti, very high way of living. How do you live? The highest way to live is to eat fruits that have been dropped by birds and animals from the trees. So you don't hurt anything. You don't hoard anything. You don't have bags and bags of rice, or you don't have tins of oil, or you keep deeply refrigerated beef and pork and meat and all that. Whatever is dropped today, whatever is lying on the ground, you take and you eat. That is a very sattvic way of living. The second way of living that Mahabharata says is the Kshatriya way of living, where you do agriculture and you kill and destroy millions and millions of microbes, jiva. You and I, who are eating the produce from farms, from agriculture, we get our food by destroying millions and millions of living beings. That is considered to be the second level, second tier of living. Third tier of living is vyapara, by trading. The fourth way of living is called shaunika vritti. Shauna means dog. Shaunika vritti, which means you are working for somebody who is lower than you in intellectual and in their heart. If your boss is of a smaller heart than you, if your boss has less mind than you, intellectually he or she is lower than you, then they say that kind of living is living like a dog. So the fourth one is varjita. They are saying don't live like that. Third category is slightly better, but avoid it. Why? Because you are living between satya and asatya. Trading is all about satya and asatya. Some part you are lying, some part you are telling the truth. Better than that is to do agriculture, fishing and eat from the earth. The best is don't pluck anything, don't destroy anything. Aparigraha, don't hoard. I will eat for today, tomorrow's Shiva. That kind of living is the best living. So here Yama says, think of Gandhi. Gandhi was totally into ahimsa. He was into satyagraha. He was into non-stealing. We know, if you read his autobiography, he tells that, he tried stealing gold and putting the blame on his servant. But then he finally accepted that, no, I did it. And he practiced brahmacharya, though it is very controversial now, that he was sleeping with young women even at the age of 65. He wanted to know, sleeping naked to young women, will he get sexually aroused? Some people think that this is people who are, influenced by the Western thought. They feel that way, that what he was doing was wrong. But Gandhiji was experimenting with himself, saying, will I be able to control or not? And he was able to control his sexual desires. He was a great brahmachari. After the age of 40, in an interview, Kasturba Gandhi says that Mohandas and I have not come together after the age of 40. After 4 children, but till then, of course, he was very sexually active. You read his biography, it's wonderful. He opens up his heart, he lets you into his life. He's a pakka, perfect yogi. Okay? So, aparigraha, non-greed. Let's not hoard anything. Let's not become greedy. What is not required? Two clothes, 2 sets of clothes. One on the body, one on the drying yard. That's it. Why do you need a million shoes? I'm reminded of Jayalalitha. She had some 950 pairs. Do you really need so many shoes? She's definitely not a yogi. She's a bhogi. Okay, yama. Then niyama. Niyama is that the yamas are psychological controls which you should avoid, not do. Don'ts. Yama are do's, what you must do. Just like 5 yama, there are 5 niyamas. Okay? The first one is shaucha. Shaucha means cleanliness. Internal and external. Antaranga Shuddhi, Bahiranga Shuddhi. You must be clean inside, again, in your thought, in your words, in your action. Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. Not just how outside. That is why, again, Gandhiji we have to take. The Swachha Bharat Abhiyan today, which is started by BJP, also has Gandhi as its icon because he was really into cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. In fact, cleanliness is godliness, if you ask me. So there's a very small story that comes about. I don't know why I'm talking about Gandhi today, but really he was a perfect yogi. So there is a story where Kasturba and Mahatma Gandhi had a fight. They have a tussle. On rotation, everybody had to clean the bathrooms. So Kasturba, during those days, untouchability was there. So she said, I am not going to clean the toilet of a Dalit. So Mahatma Gandhi used to clean the toilets on his turn and also on Kasturba's turn. That was his commitment to cleanliness. Not just you keeping clean, but keeping the environment clean, keeping everything around you clean, keeping their thoughts clean. If somebody comes and says, they say nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Somebody will come and say, come, we will, there is a shop, the owner has gone somewhere and all the sweets are lying open, come, we'll go steal. He is making you unclean even in your thought. Immediately you must cut that kind of people from your life. Because they are unclean people in their thought. Shaucha, the first niyama, you must be clean. The second is santosha, you must be contented, tripti. Santosha is not ananda. Santosha is when you are happy with what you have. One must have some tripti, isn't it? Content. Okay, today I got chapatis, should be happy. Tomorrow somebody will bring one big biryani. Okay. Day after tomorrow, nothing, I just have one glass of milk. Okay. Be contented. There is one Kannada song which I'm which I listen to when I look at some people. The song goes like this. Aanegondu yelle yellide. What it means is, just like the elephant knows no bounds, there is no boundary for an elephant. It will keep roaming wherever it wants to. Similarly, human desires also knows no bounds. So how you must tame your desire is like how you tame an elephant. It is that difficult. And there is a simple tool to do that. Contentment, tripti, santosha. Give thanks for whatever you have received. That doesn't mean you should not look at growing yourself. It means don't be discontent. Don't always be in a negative spiral. There are a lot of people. A person who is in a negative spiral can never become a yogi. Because he is always looking at what cannot be or what he doesn't have instead of being happy about what he has. The next niyama is tapas. Tapas means discipline, austerity, or like they say, the fire in the belly. Tapas doesn't mean go and sit in a forest. That will also come later. But here, tapas means you must have a burning desire to liberate yourself. The discipline. Without the fire of wanting to achieve or wanting to escape from this bondage, or that burning desire to find the truth or burning desire to find love, you cannot go through. One has to pour himself or herself completely into the discipline. That is called tapas. You cannot hold even 1% of yourself back. It's like when you play a game and you want to hit a six, you must commit. Like if you're playing cricket and if you want to hit a six, you must commit yourself completely. Swing hard. If you hesitate even a little, it will go for a catch. That is tapas. Be there totally with a burning enthusiasm. Completely. The fourth niyama is Swadhyaya. Now, Swadhyaya has two meanings and both are right. Swadhyaya means study of the spiritual text. That is Veda, Vedanta, Shruti, Bhagavad Gita, etc. But I am more inclined to take the literal meaning of the word Swa-adhyaya, which means self-study. To study my own self. One must do it, otherwise how will you understand who you are, what you are doing, where you are going in your life? Most of the people that you see who have achieved something, who can be an inspiration for others, have all done Swadhyaya. They become what we call as Pratah Smaraniya. People who we should remember as soon as we wake up. These are the people who have, and if you look at their own lives, like we were talking about Gandhi, or another, let's say, great icon, Rama, what they went through their lives, you will understand slowly that because they had the capacity to look at their own self, they could achieve whatever they did. So it is a requirement, Swadhyaya. Fifth one is called Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana means surrendering to a higher power. Now, in the previous darshana, in Sankhya, we did not find any Ishvara, any God, any higher power. This is a major difference between the practice and the theory. Here, surrender becomes important. To understand that I am not omnipresent, I am not omnipotent. Only then, when a person understands this, can he contemplate that there is a journey to take towards that higher power. Otherwise, without a map, you cannot go anywhere. So what is the map? The map is to go from here to there. Grow from where you are. Go and grow from where you are towards Aishwarya. Okay? And also because you are surrendering all your actions, all your yoga, all your meditation, all your practices become Nishkama. It's called Nishkama Karma, which means you are not looking for any results. You are not stuck to result-oriented work. You are just doing it because you want to please a higher power. Because you have surrendered to a higher power. Okay? So these are the yamas and niyamas. Any questions here? Okay. Then the third anga, the third wing, is called asana. Asana is not exercise. Do not confuse asana. Whatever the modern yogis are doing or so-called yogis are doing, asana is explained by Patanjali Rishi as sthiram sukham asana. Sthiram means where you are able to sit without movement, steady. Sukham, and without any discomfort. When you are able to sit without movement and without discomfort for at least 3 hours, then that is an asana. There are 4 asanas which are prescribed by Patanjali Yoga Sutra: Padmasana, Vajrasana, Sukhasana and Siddhasana. These are the only 4 asanas mentioned and prescribed. All other asanas that we talk of, Trikonasana, Bhujangasana, Shalabhasana, all these asanas you practices so that you can maintain any one of these 4 asanas uninterruptedly, so that you can meditate. If your body is moving all the time, imagine if I was talking like this, I will not be able to gain any attention from you. In fact, there is a warning. If you find a yogi who is very fidgety, who cannot sit in steady, fast attention, if he cannot sit in sthira asana, then he is not a yogi. So you will see most of the gurus, most of the masters are sitting perfectly still. Maybe the hands are moving, maybe the head is moving a little bit. But they are not moving totally, Because if you cannot maintain your body steadily for a long time, then you cannot keep your mind still. The body has to be still. Only then the mind can be still. And we spoke, what is yoga? Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. The waves, the motion that is happening in the chitta, in the consciousness, must be stopped, must be stilled. If it has to come to standstill, then your body must also be still. You must learn to make your body still. That is why asanas are required. The byproduct is that you are also going to be healthy. The byproduct is your skin is going to be glowing. The byproduct is that you will have very good muscular strength. All those things. These are byproducts. The next anga is pranayama. Now, you have to understand what is pranayama. Pranayama by Patanjali means control of breathing. You control your breathing. There are three basic elements when you breathe. What is that? The ingoing breath, the breath which is inside of you, and the outgoing breath. It is called Puraka, Kumbhaka and Rechaka. The breath that is going in is called Puraka. The breath that is retained is called Kumbhaka. And the breath that is coming out is Rechaka. And some people say, oh, Gurunatha, what about the breath that you send outside and then it is all empty? Some people call it as Bahya Kumbhaka, but that is not prescribed by Patanjali. So, a yogi must learn to regulate his breath, control his breath. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Why? Because breath is directly related to your mind. It is directly corresponding to your mind. I give this example everywhere. If your mind is angry, let us say you are emotionally charged, your mind is agitated, you cannot breathe deep. Your breathing will go, isn't it? When you get angry, what do you say? You cannot breathe deep. Your breathing becomes shallow. So the yogis found out the relationship between your breathing and your mind. They said every time the mind gets upset, the breathing gets upset. So if we can control the breathing, we can control the mind. It's a beautiful, very scientific methodology. Even in modern medical hospitals, if you go into the trauma center, they'll say, please take a deep breath. Breathe, 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 breathe. Because your breathing and your mind are totally connected to each other. So, a yogi has to achieve mastery over his breathing. Otherwise, enlightenment is going to be the least of your problems. Nobody can go towards enlightenment if the breathing is not under control. So the body is still, the breathing is under control. Next what? Next is pratyahara. Then you must test yourself. Am I really a master of stillness? Am I really a master of my breathing? How will I know? By what we call as pratyahara. This is the fourth. This is the middle one. This is in between bahya, outside discipline and inside discipline. Pratya means anti. Ahara means food. Pratyahara. So what is this pratyahara? We saw that we have 5 sense organs in the Sankhya philosophy. What are these sense organs? Eyes, ears, tongue, nose, smell, touch. Now all of them, if you understand properly, they are all flowing out. Your vision is, your eye is flying out. It's going outside and outside is coming in. It's like a door. Of course, in any door, a door is an opening between outside and inside. So as the vision is going out, the objects are going in. As your ear is going out, these shabda, these sounds are coming in. So here what we do is, instead of making all your sense organs flow outside, we turn it around. All these senses, sense objects are called ahara. Do not think that ahara means only food. What you are watching, what you are viewing through your eyes is also food. What you are hearing is also food. What you are smelling is also food. It's a different kind of food. So here you make it pratyahara, pratyahara. You turn everything inwards. So the eyes start looking inside. The ear starts hearing inside. The nose, the tongue, the skin, everything folds inside. The example that is given is that of a turtle. If you look at a turtle, it has 4 limbs, 1 head and 1 tail, which it can withdraw inside of its shell. Isn't it? Pratyahara is exactly like that. You pull all your 6 senses inside, including the mind. And once you are able to do that, how do you know you have done it? The first thing that you will achieve victory is on your kama vasana. Remember the creative energy that was there? You will be able to control your... Yoga is all about control. Control your sexual, your creative energy. Let me tell you the story of Arjuna. Arjuna went to get Gandhiva, and he went to get Pashupashastra, Agniastra. When he got all this, he was invited into the Indraloka, Swarga. So he was invited there, and Indra is his father. So he was sitting as a guest of honor, and there was a lot of dance going on, just like Prakriti was dances in front of Purusha. All these celestial nymphs, apsaras. Apa means water, apsara means women who are made of water. That is probably why all the modern heroines, if you say, what is the secret of your fitness? How do you look so good? I drink a lot of water, I keep myself hydrated. All apsaras. So all the apsaras were dancing, and he praised Urvashi as the best dancer. Urvashi, Ramba, Menike, Tilottama, all these nymphs, they were dancing, and he praised Urvashi. So Indra thought that he might be interested to have a sexual relationship with Urvashi. So that evening, Indra sends Urvashi. They are concubines, they are there for the pleasure, these apsaras. So she goes to Arjuna and says, listen, I am here to make you happy. Arjuna folds his hands and says, but you are partners with my father, Indra. That makes me your son. That makes you my mother. I cannot share a bed with you. Please, mother, I just appreciated your dance. That is kama jita. So a person whose senses are going inside, whose senses know how to gather themselves inside. The first result of such a person is that he becomes kama jita. He gains victory over his sensual pleasures. This is the Sadhana Pada. So all the 5 Bahya Angas, the 5 parts which out of the 8 parts of yoga form the Sadhana Pada. Vibhuti Pada deals with Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. What does Dharana mean? Dharana means holding. Or holding your concentration or having a steady focus. I like to use the word focus more than concentration. Because concentration causes some stress. If you tell a child, concentrate on your studies, it will feel stressful. You're better. But if you expose a child to a game or a sport that he or she likes, or a film that they like, or some serial or Chota Bheem or whatever they like, they will steadily keep their focus on that. They are concentrating, but without stress. So I like to use the word steady focus for dharana. So when you practice dharana, you are binding your mind, your Shakti to one place. There's a bind. You're getting married to something. That is, your Shakti and your mind is focused on one place. Place, idea, object, mantra, all that. We will see there are 5 types of dharanas. There's a major misunderstanding that happens here. Dharana is training yourself to meditate. It is not actual meditation. What is the difference between dharana and dhyana? It's very difficult. It's a very subtle difference. You are training, suddenly the dhyana will happen. Okay? So Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks about 5 different types of dharana. The first one is called vitarka. Vitarka is when you practice binding your mind to a solid object. That means you could meditate on some sensory awareness, or visualization, or deep breathing, or mantra. So this is vitarka. Tarka, you know what is tarka? Tarka is an idea of an object. For example, in every Vedic meditation, there is a Dhyana Mantra and there is a Japa Mantra. A Dhyana Mantra talks about the visual medium. For example, I cannot give the whole Dhyana Mantra, but for, let's say, Narasimha. Narasimha Muruvruka Ravitrinetram. Just one line of the 4 lines of Dhyana, which means Narasimha Muruvruka Ravitrinetram. Narasimha possesses 3 round suns for his eyes. S-U-N, sun. 1, 2, 3. Narasimha Muruvruka Ravitrinetram. And then it explains how you must visualize Narasimha outside of you, and then slowly bring and establish the Narasimha Dhyana Rupam into you, and then do the Japa. The Japa Mantra you probably know. Ugram Viram Mahavishtum Jwalantam Sarvatam Mukam Nrisimham Bhishanam Padram Mrityu Namamyaham. Which is a very powerful Nrisimha Mantra. So the Japa Mantra is openly given to people. But if you want to get the Vitarka, the Dharana Mantra for this, then one must get initiated. Okay, so this is Vitarka, where you have visualization, breathing and mantras. Okay, the second one is called Vichara. Vichara is when you have, for example, I want to become like Purushottama Rama. It could be a matter, or you could look at the writing on a wall which is shaped like an Om. Om, you can draw an Om, or you can look at an idol, and then you can bring your focus to that. That is the second type of meditation. Sometimes you can also meditate on nothing. That also comes in Vichara, because meditating on nothing like the Buddhists do is also Vichara. If you're not thinking of something, then you're not thinking of something. That is nothing. Nothing is also something, because you are focusing on it. There is a non-focus way of meditation which is not prescribed in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, but which comes in Tantra. Okay? The third one is called Ananda. This is the practice of seeking joy while meditating. So you can take any of the dharanas and suddenly you will feel this beautiful joy building up inside of you. So you drop the dharana that you had taken and you get into this joy. And slowly with practice you will be able to focus only on the joy which lies within you. You are already Chidananda Rupa. Ananda is already there. Joy is already there in you. The fourth methodology is called Asmita. Asmita Dharana, where you focus on I. For example, you could sit, which is one of the techniques in Buddhist meditation practices of Vipassana, where you practice on, you recall, what did I do today? Okay, I did this, I did this, I did this. So what is the focus? I. Asmita or Ahankara. Even that is a type of accepted dharana. Then finally, Shunya, which only Buddhists have prescribed, which according to Patanjali and to me, both fall into Vichara. Okay? Here I would like to bring to your notice, we also teach what is called as Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, which prescribes 112 dharana vidhanas. It gives you 112 meditative techniques. And all the techniques in the world fall into these 112 techniques. In the first technique, or the first half of the first technique, liberated Buddha made Gautama Buddha the enlightened master. Just the first half of the first technique. So maybe if you are around, all of you, Ajay has also joined us today, maybe he can get, I'm not talking about giving dikshas, just to understand what are the 112 dharanas, which is one of the greatest texts of our tradition. Okay? Then the seventh part of yoga is Dhyana. You know, Dhyana is the actual practice of meditating. It is the state of meditating. This is the process of meditation. So, as you start meditating, going deeper and deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper towards the core, towards the center of your being, which is also the center of everybody's being, you will acquire what is called Vibhutis, Siddhis and Shaktis, extraordinary supernatural powers. And if somebody gets stuck in any of these Siddhis, if anybody gets stuck in these supernatural powers, then they will be misled from the real objective of Moksha. The real objective of yoga is Moksha. Remember this. Why did you begin with Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana? You have done all this only to get misled. You have done all this for Moksha. And I would like to stress upon all the yogis, these siddhis can only attract others. These powers are to show others. It cannot help you. What will you do with these powers? Only impress somebody else, right? So all these gurus and yogis who are showing off their powers, I will go underground for 40 days. I will stand on 1 feet for 20 years. I will sit on fire. I will sleep on a bed of nails. This is all to attract and impress others. But others are not going to give you moksha. Only going within you can give you liberation. Attracting others, impressing others, showing magic tricks, miracles, putting vibhuti onto somebody's hand. All this is not going to help you. It is not going to make you a yogi. So all the good traditions, including Patanjali, have said, stay away from these vibhutis, stay away from siddhis. You will get it anyway. But don't stop there. Your destination is moksha. Go there. Your destination is Delhi. You got down in Tumkur because you liked the weather. What's the point? It is the ultimate litmus test. Yes, Trinath, you're right. So we'll quickly look at what are the siddhis. See, these siddhis manifest in combination. It is never one. They say anima, mahima, garima, lagima, prapti, prakamya, ishitva and vashitva. I will explain each one of them. Anima is the ability to reduce one size. Remember Sundara Kanda. If you want to remember the siddhis, remember Sundara Kanda of Ramayana, where Hanumanji becomes very small to go into the mouth of the demoness, Rakshasi. Anima, reduce one side. Mahima, the ability to grow very big. Garima, ability to increase weight. Lagima, ability to become lighter than the lightest. Prapti, the ability to manifest anything. This is a siddhi which is becoming very popular these days through the law of attraction. It is a siddhi. Prapti. Prakamya, ability to acquire anything that is desired. What is the difference between prapti and prakamya? Prapti would mean you can use even physical strength like garima or mahima. Okay? Prakamya is instantaneous. You desire and it comes. You read the story of one Gandh Baba. Gandh Baba also went to the same mystical institute as I did. But he got this great ability to create, to create beautiful scents out of nothing. Gandha. So if you gave him a kerchief, he would just wipe and make the kerchief smell like a rose. If you gave him a bird, the bird would start smelling of sandal. In fact, his supernatural power is also mentioned by some foreign authors. You read the book Paul Brunton's In Search of Secret India. There he mentions Gandh Baba. He belonged to my school of mysticism. Okay, but he stopped there. But he knew he had stopped there. He said, I have to show these supernatural siddhis so that people get attracted to Kriya Yoga. People get attracted to Natha Sampradaya. So there are some people who do that. They stop there. Okay? Ishitva means lordship over all the creation. I remember when I was doing my sadhana, I got a little bit of this siddhi, where I would be able to communicate with trees and birds and animals. All the creation, everything in this universe, you become Ishvara of that. The word Aishwarya, Ishitva is all connected to Ishvara. The ownership. What is the ownership? Ownership is when you are able to communicate and control something, isn't it? So you get that power also. Vashitva. Vashitva is a negative form of the same power, where even if the other person doesn't want to communicate or doesn't want you to control, see, you can control people through people. I'll give you an example. Through two methods. First method is to become a friend, that you also surrender, they will also surrender. That is one method. The second method, if they don't surrender, you use force. Bring a gun, keep a gun on their head, they will follow you. You can create control there also. That is Vashitvam. You've heard of all these Vashikarana mantras, that, this and all. All that is because of this Siddhi, where you control people even when they don't want it. I highly recommend that you understand this for academic reasons. Don't try going behind all these Siddhis. There are also 9 treasures like Padma Raga, which is ruby. There is a hidden meaning of what this means. Padma Raga is what is called as a yogi's heart. If you see Jesus Christ, he is shown with a red heart like a ruby. Many photographs. That means he is the possessor of this Padma Raga. This Padma Raga, this ruby that is the heart, is a special mechanism. You can throw anything at it, it will convert it into something else. Okay, but we are not going into all this. Mahapadma, that is the lotus, also called the Hridaya Kamala, or the Kamala which is on your head, the Sahasrara. I am not going to deep explanation of this. These are Navanidhis, Ashtasiddhis and Navanidhis. 9 treasures. The third is Shankha, the conch. The fourth is Makara, the crocodile. The fifth is Kachapa. Kachapa means tortoise. The sixth is Mukunda, jasmine. The seventh is Nanda. Nanda is also a sort of joy, which is like intoxication, intoxicating joy. Okay? Neela, which is sapphire. And Karva. Karva is an innumerable collection of treasures. Okay, you are staying. Very good, Ajay. So here, this is the Vibhuti Pada, where he explains what you get, how you get it, and how you should use it or not use it, and what are the circumstances when you are given these kind of powers, or you receive these kind of powers, or you... Actually, these powers are all inside of us, even now. But it is a tragedy if somebody stays there and doesn't grow beyond that. And in the last Pada, Kaivalya Pada, Patanjali Rishi talks in detail about Samadhi. What is Samadhi? It is the last Anga, the last part of yoga. You remember Vyakta and Avyakta, everything was Avyakta before Prakriti and Purusha came together. And I told you all the Trigunas were balanced. Sama Adi. Adi means before. Sama means balanced. So once you reach the stage where Prakriti is balanced like it was before Purusha and Prakriti came together, that is the state of Samadhi. Of course, there are 17 different types of Samadhis that Patanjali Rishi prescribes. It gets very confusing if I explain it in 10 minutes. But I will tell you there are 2 main categories. Broad categories. The first is called Samprajñata or Sabija. This means you will reach the state of Samadhi, but your desires, the seed of your desires will still be there. For example, today I was coming with a disciple of mine, and there was one very nice old 100-year building. 100-year-old building. And I thought to myself, wow, how beautiful it will be to stay in this house. That is a desire that was created inside of me. But of course, I am aware of it and I burnt that desire in me. But if a person is not aware, that bija, that seed will be stuck in your samskara. And even though you are in Samadhi, the beach is waiting for the right moment to break open. That you will still be in samadhi. But the samskaras are not destroyed yet. In the second type, the asampragnata samadhi or nirbija samadhi, there are no living desires. Desires will come. I will share the mechanics with you. A desire will come. The yogi will look at the desire, appreciate the desire. Oh, what a beautiful desire. I am getting it because Prakriti is showing it to me. She is dancing in front of me. Beautiful Prakriti, you are amazing. And then he takes the bija, he takes the seed of desire and puts it in the fire. The fire of his samadhi, fire of his tapasya, burns it. And the next moment again one more desire will come. You will take that. Here the yogi is not sitting somewhere away from all the nature. No. He is very much in the center of everything. He is in the thick of the battle, so to say. He is in the thick of Maya. He is in the thick of this universe. Doing everything. But all this is happening like a film. And he is enjoying. Okay? Because he understands that I am pure Chetana, I am pure consciousness. I am the primordial Purusha. I am not Prakriti. I am not what is being manifested. I am the unmanifest Purusha. I am the witness. I am the Sakshi. And the Sakshi is witnessing the dance of Prakriti. He realizes that I am the Prakasha, the light. And once he understands that I am the one, when the yogi understands that I am the one who is throwing the light, I am the Purusha who is throwing the light, he becomes Kaivalya. That is why it is called Kaivalya Pada. Kevala. Kevala means one. Singular. In Kannada they use the word avnan tumba kevalವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ, which means he used singular words only. Neenu. English, it's very difficult to explain it in English because there's no difference between Neenu and Neevu. So if somebody calls you Neenu, that means he is using Kevala Vakya for you, a singular term for you. So when the yogi becomes that one, he has achieved Kaivalya. What the others call as Moksha, Patanjali Rishi uses the word Kaivalya. Kaivalya is nothing but Moksha. But here the word that is used is Kaivalya. That is why this chapter is called Kaivalya Pada. Okay? In conclusion, then I will be open for some questions if you have any. In conclusion, Sankhya is the theory, Yoga is the practice. Yoga says, do this and you will become the one Purusha. But there is a small difference here. Because it says Ishvara Pranidhana, it also differentiates between, for the lack of a word, I am using these two words, between the Atma and the Paramatma, or the Samanya Purusha and the Vishesha Purusha. There is a Vishesha Purusha, the primordial Purusha, the Paramatma, who is not the Bhaktri, who is not getting entangled with the Prakriti. But the Purusha who is getting entangled with the Prakriti is the Kevala Purusha, and the Purusha, the pure Purusha, is the Vishesha Purusha. He is the Ishvara. He has all the Aishwarya. So, we must understand the theory of Sankhya and the practice of Yoga will lead us to liberation from the dukkha, the tapatraya, the problems of life, and take us to the ultimate destination for which we are all born. So with this, we come to the end of Yoga Darshana. Let me tell you, what I have discussed is the Darshana, not the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which I'll be happy to share and teach with you if any of you are interested.